Welcome to Pack It Like It's Hot, the official podcast from MJS Packaging, where we dive into real-world packaging insights with the people who know it best, our team, our partners, and other industry pros. Let's get started. And we're back. It's Cindy Vogel. I'm here joined by Greg Clark again. Hi, Greg.
Hi. Good afternoon, Cindy.
Good afternoon. Today's guests, we have Leah Alcocer, National Account Manager, and Chris Nole, Senior Manager of Technical Services, both from Phoenix. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're thrilled to have you join us. And we're going to jump right in because we don't like to waste any time here on the Pack It Like It's Hot podcast. So if you can both just give us a quick few highlights of your careers in packaging.
Well, my career really started with Phoenix about 7 years ago. I've been fortunate enough to be exposed to a variety of different packaging markets just because of their portfolio. And with the continued exposure in the marketing world and watching it grow, it's been, pretty interesting. But yeah, about 7 years now.
Great. What about you, Chris?
I've been in the plastics industry right around 30 years. I've been in packaging, whether it be bottles or caps, for the past 20 years.
Wow. That's a long time. You must love this packaging world.
You kind of fall in where you kind of with what you know. So you kind of stick with things that have historically helped or have historically progressed forward. And it's hard to move out of something that you know so much of. So.
Absolutely.
Tell us about the hottest trends you're seeing within the nutraceutical industry.
Well, I think post-COVID, we've really saw a lot of smaller boutique brands pop up in retail, kind of stealing the shelf from those bigger established brands. And really, we feel like it's been kind of like the social media platforms that have really influenced this. Our marketing team has done some research and noticed a lot of the younger consumers are more attracted to the eye-catching packaging trends, where the older consumers are more loyal to the brands.
I know there was a lot of new emphasis on health and wellness, right, with the COVID boom, so to speak.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think with some of the younger audiences, they jumped in and with the social media platforms out there, kind of directing different niches and different products, that helped kicked off a lot of that younger audiences as well.
Cool. That is cool. So for those of you who are tuning in and you're not as familiar with the nutraceutical industry, we're talking things like protein powders and supplements, capsules, gummies, all those different formulations. What do you find are the more challenging formulations of nutraceutical products that manufacturers are trying to package today?
For my end of this, it's when the powders or things of that nature are oxygen sensitive. So if they're oxygen sensitive and maybe the container itself has oxygen scavengers within, and trying to offer them a liner and then a proper setup on their systems in order to be effective in that. So across the whole portfolio, whether it be powders, capsules, or gummies, everybody has their own preference, whether it be a foil seal liner or the pressure sensitive liners, as we all have come to love in our lives. There's a bunch of different things that can impact, and I think that's probably the hardest thing, is trying to make sure that the customers are set up for best success and the line and the systems they have are appropriate for the applications.
Excellent. Tell us about child-resistant packaging in the nutraceutical industry. Are there products that are required to use child-resistant packaging?
Yes, I think that there are requirements, but it depends on the ingredients or the formulations of the product. We did do some research, and there are some ingredients out there that are considered harmful. I think aspirins and ibuprofens and different things like that do require CRCs, but it also depends on the dosages as well. We feel that a lot of the brands are kind of opting to the CRC packaging just for a variety of different reasons, and some external factors that we've noticed during some of our research is the risk mitigation. If it's not legally required, CRCs just help against protecting potential liabilities if a child was accidentally able to get into the product, right, and ingest it. There's also consumer trust there. Parents and caregivers are increasingly expected to have CRC packaging, especially for gummies and chewables and different things that look like candy for kids. And then you've got your retail pressure. There's different platforms in there like Amazon that strongly recommend or prefer the CRC packaging for their nutraceutical products, and really consistency. So brands would rather either consolidate or, standardize their packaging, right? So if there's, 60% that require CRCs, they may just go ahead and flip everything over 100% to CRCs. But, I don't think that there's like a single, industry-wide percentage that we're seeing do this. I would say it's probably close to being a little over 50% based on, some of our research that we've done. And then when you flip into the more of the adult targeted platforms, it does change a little bit as far as the CRCs go. But, overall, I think the external factors are playing the most role in, really what the decision is for the customer on what to do.
That's interesting. I would not have thought brands would be willing to pay more for a CRC, child-resistant closure, but it's the risk mitigation is driving decision-making.
Sure. I mean, if you have a nice looking gummy that really contains 500 milligrams of fish oil, probably isn't so great for a kid to ingest 8 of those.
No, it's not.
That'd be my guess, at least.
Healthy heart.
Yeah, and I think just that, being a parent myself, I think just the impact and having that in place just gives me a sense of relaxation, right? I don't have to worry about it in my medicine cabinet. So definitely, I think the external factors, play a huge role in this decision, regardless of the harmful, classified ones that do require the CRCs.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's good that manufacturers are taking that common sense measure, really, because I agree with you, Leah. As a parent, you want to make sure that your kids aren't getting at stuff that they don't need to be. So we know that counterfeit products are an issue in the nutraceutical market. What measures do you see manufacturers taking to protect their products against this?
That's an interesting one. I mean, obviously, there is a threat for safety and brand credibility when it comes to counterfeit products. Some of the larger brands, we do see them making some investments on like smart packaging, like QR codes and maybe digital tools. But mainly, because of the high cost, we see tamper-evident features such as shrink bands and stickers. I think that's commonly what we see today. I think Chris has a little more input on the technical side of it.
Yeah, so some liner suppliers currently offer counterfeit collections, but it comes at a premium price. And a lot of times you don't see that widely used or even widely publicized because of it's not widely used. People don't typically go that route just because of it's not cost effective. A lot of markets also use like the tamper evident options that leave residue from the liner onto the package itself. So leaving whether it be part of the foil, part of paper, or something remnants on the sealing surface of the bottle. It makes it harder for resealing. You cannot reseal. I received a package the other day actually from a customer who said, hey, they were having issues with the liner adhering to the package, and we found that they had removed the liner from it and then tried to reseal it, but it still had aluminum foil, so it almost made it look like it had a double liner at some point, but it was impossible to react in the way it did. So it was an interesting observation, but that's truly showing us that does work. So if you do try to reseal or try to change the package or the contents within, it is actually an active thing that helps or works to keep from allowing people to reseal.
Chris, I'm going to I'll go off script a little bit. You're on the technical side. What is something that has been the biggest challenge or biggest win where you had a unique situation that you had to overcome, something that would sort of wow our listening audience?
That's a tough one. Without having that last little bit that you added on there that would wow the listeners. So that makes it kind of difficult. My life is technical, and most people find it very boring.
Well, we're excited to hear what your answer is. Wow us.
I guess the arena most people have the most problems with that I experience is most of the time it's inline cappers. So most of our customers, we show up to the line, they typically don't have a torque meter, so to speak, so they don't know really what consistency they're getting. And they've been doing this for a long time. They, whether it be maybe they don't see a need to understand what application torque is, removal torques, or how to properly set up an induction machine, but they have been successful throughout years in their minds to a certain extent. So trying to, I guess, go into some of these customers and re-educate, let them know that, pressure, heat, and time is what the liner requires. This is what a lot of the liner suppliers preach. Intercon and various other Lapel, Pillar, all the other players in the induction field all preach the same thing. So you need to have consistent application torque. You need to have the right amount of heat and then the right amount of time underneath that induction machine. So I guess one of the biggest things that I've ran into commonly is in the inline field, making sure that their setup is correct, that they I think one customer we had, they had a lot of turnover, and the education, it's hard to try to educate the consumer or the customer on how to use their piece of equipment because they all feel that they are the owners of that. So trying to educate them on how to do a proper setup and then make that setup repeatable. That way you have standards put in place in order to achieve the same application force in order to get a similar seal throughout.
That's when I first started, one of the things I learned, you mentioned pressure, heat, and time, and that is a universal truth that for those listening that are not familiar, please reach out. We'll help you with that. It's a great thing to know. So let me ask you one other question for both of you. What's one surprising thing most people don't know about nutraceutical packaging?
Well, I think two things come to mind on here. And the first one is, consumers are more likely, we did a research study a little bit on this, but I also, just being in the field for the past 7 years, if a product is difficult to open, they're more than likely to not purchase it again. So it can kind of be brand damaging, really. So I think that packaging, I think people look at it as, it's just a package, we're going to use the product inside. But I really do think the initial use of it does impact the consumers. And then secondly, I think as we have grown into this social media market and their social media influencers today, I have really seen a huge impact on those social media platforms. I mean, TikTok right now,
sure.
If you get a vitamin on there, it's almost flying off the shelves at this point. So it's very interesting to see that the younger audiences are now more exposed to packaging and different things like that. And I think that, the aesthetics of the package is important to them. So if they can't open it and it looks good, or if they can't open it, they don't want it. But if it looks good and they can open it, it almost kind of overrides what the actual product does.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was thinking that, Leah, like, what are the product benefits? Doesn't matter. It looks good and it tastes good. It looks good.
It tastes, can open it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And and we've really seen that trend over the past few years as, like I said, the social media has really impacted our industry.
That is very interesting. A little scary in some ways too, but very interesting. All right. Mm-hmm. So as one set of packaging nerds to another, how would you both describe your dream nutraceutical packaging in 3 words?
Well, I definitely think Chris is going to have a completely different answer since I'm in the sales side of it. But I would say appealing, effective, and affordable.
I like it.
Very nice.
All right, Chris, let's hear it. What's yours?
Modern, simple, and sustainable.
Oh,
Very
that's
nice.
very good too. I like it.
Cindy, what's yours?
Oh, I didn't have mine prepared. I'm not really sure.
I would agree though with as a nerd in the industry as well. I agree that if I cannot open a package, and in particular if the liner is over applied and I can't peel it off, nothing gets under my skin quite like that.
That's true. I guess
Yeah.
I would probably go safe, simple, effective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those would probably be my three, which might sound a little boring, but that probably would be where I'd net out.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
If I could add to that point, if we have enough time,
Sure.
I would like to add to the hard to remove on CRCs. But I think you guys were hitting on there pretty good that, induction sealing and over induction of a liner on a CRC is the most common cause of hard to remove caps that I see currently. So if you over induct, you're basically back bonding that liner to the inside of the cap. And then you have a ratcheting system that has to overcome that bond. If it was a normal CT closure that did not have that ratcheting feature or the CRC function, it would remove easily versus doing the same thing to a CRC package. It makes it very hard to remove.
Excellent.
Interesting. Good to know.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both, Leah and Chris, for joining us here today. And for those of you listening, if you have questions, please reach out. Between Greg and our partners here at Phoenix, we're happy to help you tackle all of those nutraceutical packaging challenges that you may have. So thanks again to you both, and have a great day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having us as a guest.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to our MJS podcast. Make sure to follow and listen on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Tune in next month when we will be joined by another packaging expert. And remember, packaging solutions are just a click away at mjspackaging.com.